Hey, let me just bring my mic closer. Hey, I'm so excited to do this hackathon. So today I'm starting with the RevenueCat Shipaton hackathon, and I'm just like so excited to build this. So let me just like open my Notion, and so basically this is what I will be building for this specific hackathon. So basically, what I'm doing is, just to give you guys a background of what I'm doing. So a few weeks back, I attended a hackathon. It was a Momentum hackathon. It was sponsored by Momentum, the company. It's an insurance company here in South Africa. And what we had to do like a travel risk monitoring app where we prevent weather-related claims with real-time alerts. And our team didn't do so well. I mean, I was just very disappointed in my team, but that's okay. Um, Today I'm redoing the hackathon. Not that one specifically, but I'm gonna be doing the Shipaton or Shipaton hackathon. And I'm gonna be using the same idea, the same concepts, because I just want to prove myself that it can be done. And I think it's a brilliant idea. Basically, as you can see on the screen, it's all about weather related damages such as hailstorms, heavy rain, or flash floods. They say it cost insurance companies millions annually, and in South Africa and around the world, drivers are often unaware of dangerous weather on their travel routes until it's too late. I don't know how true that statement is, but we're gonna take it very seriously and we're gonna pretend that it's very true. And I don't have a car, so I don't have car insurance, so I don't know about these things. But basically, what we are trying to do here, as you can see, your mission there said build a travel risk monitoring app that uses travel and weather data to alert users of potential weather-based travel risk with the goal of reducing insurance claims, increasing driver safety, and making proactive protection accessible to all. So basically, this is what I've been trying to do, and you have a problem statement here, and you have stretch goals. And one of the things we did wrong on the hackathon that I did a few weeks back is that we didn't read this properly, and just not reading this properly made us not do or approach it the right way. I mean, we did have a good idea, I think, but we just didn't have I don't know what we lacked really. I mean, we lacked a lot of things. We did a lot of things wrong, but time to fix it and to do things right. And by the way, I'll be doing this by myself. But I'll be happy if there will be somebody who wants to do this with me. I will post maybe a small video, a small message on Discord. I know that people are looking for teams already, so I'll just do that and see if is there anybody who wants to join me and do this with me. But okay, I just have to just double check that this is actually recording. Let me just go here because like it happened before that I thought I was recording, but I was not recording. And for 20 minutes, I was just speaking to nothing. And that's like literally sad because you have to redo the thing. And so, okay, here's the problem statement. Design and develop a robust web or mobile solution that uses travel routes and geolocation data to monitor the user's the user's journey. It integrates real-time weather APIs to identify environmental hazard, including hail, heavy rain, floods, high winds, and it also analyzes the severity of incoming weather along the user's current or intended travel path. It notifies the user of weather risk ahead of clear ahead with clear actionable alerts. It prioritizes accessibility and easy of use, and also then there's like alerts should be timely, intuitive, and non-intrusive. Um, so why is this like all important? Okay, this is all important And also, look, the problem statement here, we didn't read it very carefully last time, as I was saying. So basically, the whole idea or the whole point of this is that let me just open my book. Okay. The whole idea of this app is that basically what you do is you alert the user of incoming weather, right? And it analyzes the severity of the incoming weather, and you just like notify the user, okay, that there's gonna be a storm, there's gonna be this and that, there's gonna be hail, there's gonna be heavy rain, there's gonna be floods, there's gonna be high winds, and just be careful, right? And I think it's true that some people do lose their cars because of heavy storms. And I think I've seen videos. It usually happens, I don't know, around December, January, people will lose their cars, and it's like it's not very good, right? And so this will be an app that will solve that problem because it's gonna alert them. They're gonna know, and also I can see how insurance companies will suffer um, the consequence of not being able to help users avoid heavy weather. Okay. So the whole aim is to so if I could try to find the whole aim is to just help. Um okay, before I write the whole aim, let me just read over the thing, and then I will try then to find the whole aim of everything. Okay, and then there are stretch goals, which include like things like implementing historical risk insights for frequently traveled routes, allowing users to register their vehicles and customize risk alerts based on vulnerability, and provide a travel risk score and personalized dashboard, predict near future risk using simple AI or role-based models, simulate insurance integration, and notify users of safer driving discounts or behavior-based incentives, and offer an offline with cached risk data. So those are all the stretch goals and all the things that, you know, it's just extra stuff, right? Extra stuff that it's going to be nice to have. And basically, the ultimate goal is to help people avoid costly claims and dangerous routes by providing weather risk awareness as effortlessly as checking a map. So basically, the whole idea before was like users will check on a map and be able to, okay, see what dangerous routes and all those kind of things. But my whole idea was, or my whole point was, people often forget to check these things. I might have an app that helps me avoid dangerous like weather and all those kind of things. But what if I forgot to open the app? What if I don't use the app for my routes because I already know where I want to go, right? And a lot of people, 90 or 80% of the routes they go to, they already know how to go there. They don't need to use a GPS or anything like that. And even if they were to use one, they'll you just use Google. I mean, it's easy. It's already on their car. I mean, yeah. So how I wanted the thing is to it worked as effortlessly as doing nothing. You literally have to do nothing, but the app will always be working on the background and will be able to notify you of, like will be able to notify you when there are dangerous storms or when you might be at risk. So I think that's the most important thing that we have to do. And so this is like phase one. We have to do ideation and UX design and all those kind of things. Um, and then there's gonna be a final demo. There's gonna be a pitch. There's all gonna be those kind of things. Okay, and then the prefect stack. We could choose between Angular, React, Flutter, but I'm gonna use Kotlin on for Android development because I'm gonna make an app for Android specifically right now, and I'll try to make it a multi-platform app later on. Think I'm just new to Kotlin. I started Kotlin like a few days ago, and I don't know. I just will do. I will use the knowledge that I have to try and build something, and then from then, um, what I would try and do when I have all of like the Kotlin stuff, and then I'll use Node.js as well in the backend and integrate the two. And so that's gonna be my API. And after reading this, the main goal for me is to I, I think here's the first thing to do, right? So monitor user location. So this is what we're trying to do. We're gonna monitor the user location. So whenever we, like we sense some movement, and we're gonna try to monitor the user's location, where they are and where they were before, to try and predict where they. And also we look at the speed they're traveling, and we gonna scan the areas or the routes, right? And we're gonna figure out if, okay, will the user take this route or the other route or whatever, and we can notify them of a storm depending on where they're going. So I think it's not that very hard to do. So we monitor the user's location, we tell where the user is. So we monitor the user location, tell where the user is, and so we monitor the user location, tell where the user is, and I think, okay, calculate the speed. And we calculate the speed at which the user is traveling. And we try to predict possible route. Yeah. The whole point is to say, okay, what we want to do is we want to, okay, I've just written like a 4-step process of what we're trying to do. There's like the epicenter of the app. Okay, we're gonna monitor the user's location. We're gonna tell where the user is, and we're gonna calculate the speed at which the user is traveling, and then we're gonna try to predict possible possible routes that the user is gonna take, and then we're gonna scan all the routes, and then we're gonna then tell the user, okay, we can tell the user, we can alert them if there's a need to do so. Basically super simple. And so what I'm not sure what I will use for location, so I guess there's an Android API that does that. I don't know, I'm still gonna check. And so once I send or tell the users moving along a certain route, and what and if the user's on the road, okay, because and then also then we calculate the speed of which the user is traveling. I think it's easy to do that. You just like store multiple points and see what's the time, and you record the time, right, at which you recorded that user location, and you just use that time to and get the difference, and then that will help you to calculate the speed at which the user is traveling, right? And based on the speed, then you can predict that the user will be in a storm in 30 minutes or in an hour or in 2 hours, and then you can then use that kind of logic to notify the user, right? So that's the epicenter, the symbol idea, basically. And I'll just try and read the problem statement again to see if the epicenter covers, or if what I have here covers the problem statement. Okay, let's see. We design and develop a robust mobile solution that user travel routes and geolocation data to monitor the user's journey. We integrate real-time weather APIs to identify environmental hazards. Um, and analyze the severity of incoming weather along the user's current or intended travel plan. Uh, okay, I think this is enough, right? And also, I don't want to waste a lot of time doing things like logging in or authentication, basically, right? I don't want to waste time doing that. So basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna assume that a certain user has already been logged in. Actually, I'm gonna log in like one user, um, and then I'm just gonna work with that user. And a lot of things are happening on the front end side because we don't want to store user location on our servers. So a lot of things are happening on the front end side. And also, I think also that's the power of mobile development that you can store, uh, like databases data on the client side. So that's where the information is going to be stored, and all the calculations will happen on the client side. I'm not sure what I'm going to use for calculations. Maybe Python will be better, or if I would just use Java or Kotlin. I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. Basically, that's epicenter, but it doesn't stop that. I don't think that's the most exciting part of our app. So, if we look at the stretch goals, one of the first bullet point is implement historical risk insights for frequently traveled routes. And so, what we want to do is we want to um, have frequently traveled routes, right? And so let me just, this is the epicenter, number one, and number two is the frequently. So first we need like what is this? Like we need to know like where the user tends to go to, and most people usually like they in they travel to work and back home like daily. So that's gonna be like we need to know their work, we need to know their home, and we also need to know maybe a friend's place or whatever, just another third place that they travel to often, and also the time they usually travel to those places. This is to help us to be able to, so this will be the second step, right? So the user will tell us their frequently traveled routes, and what we're going to do with that kind of data is we're going to be able to scan the routes before the user go there or before those times, and we're going to notify this like in 30 minutes, or in this, like maybe go home early today because there might be a storm, or those kind of things. um, and then also the most interesting part as well of the project, which I'll just like say to be, so the most interesting part of it as well is that we are going to store users location along different points in a map. And what we're going to do with that kind of data is we I mean we're going to start user location, and also the time as well, the date and time and all those kind of things, and we're going to use that kind of data to create some simple AI or rule-based model that will be able to predict where the user will be, where the user will be tomorrow at 3, where the user will be tomorrow, or even next week Friday, right? But one of the problems with that is that like where the data could be very inaccurate, right? So if I'm gonna predict what the weather is gonna be on next week Friday, that's not gonna be as accurate as as tomorrow or even today. So that's one of the biggest problems. But we're gonna work with whatever data we have, even if it's not very accurate, and we tell the user it might happen, you know. Um, so I'm just writing that down. So I don't have a lot of days to build this. So I think that's why it's very important to not add everything, because this specific like sprints or sprints for the specific project will be separated into three parts, right? So I have the first part to just like redo what we did wrong, right? And so that will be the first part of the sprint. All the sprints will be 4 days long. Um, so this is going to be the first one. And the second one will be to integrate revenue, CAD stuff, and all those kind of things. Because also it's a revenue CAD hackathon. So, and like have a pay, what is it? Like have a payments gateway or payment system where we could charge users for some of our features, right? So we're gonna have that part. I mean, we could charge them so that we don't store their data. I'm joking, but we're gonna, and then there's gonna be another one. The last one will be to fix everything that's broken, to just like add a lot of other cool things, and to make sure that the thing works as intended, and also maybe to add, you know, uh, documentation, to add like all the right processes basically, and probably rewriting some of the things. So yeah, for this one iteration specifically, because that's what I have to do the epicenter, do the frequently travel routes, because I feel like it's also the core idea. It's not the core idea, but it's, it's also the next important thing after the epicenter. And then let me just look what else. Oh, and then obviously I think a dashboard is very important. So once we do all of this kind of things, we could then have kind of like a travel score. So we see where the user's traveling, we see if how is the weather there, and all those kind of things. And we see if we did alert the user about it and all those kind of things. And we just see how the user's interacting with the app, and we score them based on that. So we have a score, and we have some kind of personalized dashboard that that the user can open, and then they can see what's going on. So I'll just add that part here. Yeah, I do have that now. And then I mean, there are more other things like simulating insurance integration, notify users of safer driving discounts, or I think that will also be part of the dashboard. To add the insurance stuff, because I feel like it's also very important, because at the end of the day, this is like an insurance company thing, right? So I think that's very important. And also like an offline mode with cached risk data. Obviously, all the data will be stored on the user's data on the user's client side, which means it's accessible at any time. And the weather data should also be stored on the user side, so we don't have to get it every single time we want to scan a route. Obviously, if the user is traveling or moving around, we want to do that. But also, what we want to do is we want to be able to scan some routes in advance in case the user will go offline, and then we can notify the user of storms and stuff even if they're offline. But later on, that'll be a paid feature, because you know it doesn't have to be free. Yeah, so that will help to provide so basically this is what I'll try to have for now. And obviously if I do have time, then I'll add like proper authentication and all those kind of things. So I'll just, that will be the last thing in case there's time. Add proper authentication, right? And a lot of these things that are happening, they're happening on the user side. Let me just check something. Yeah, a lot of these things that are happening, they're happening on the user's side. So that means for now, I'll just be focusing on mostly just like the front end parts of the whole app. And obviously, you have to create some kind of like a demo thing so that you can be able to like demo the thing, right? Because obviously, we might not have storms happening anytime soon, but you need to have some kind of a demo to demonstrate how the whole app works, like the whole idea of everything. So that's also what I'll have to do. And I think that's what I'll focus on Saturday. Mostly it's just to build a demo so that I do have a demo to say, okay, that's how the app works. This what happens when this happens and all those kind of things. And also with the notifications, so this is what I was about to show now is I do have some resources that I'm gonna use for this app to make myself code faster, and also to um and also to yeah and also to make the app nice. So I signed up for Perplexity Pro for 1 month, but they're gonna review my application. They're gonna contact me. But also the thing that worries me is that AI is blocked here. So Perplexity Pro is also blocked um, on the specific Wi-Fi that I'm using, which is unfortunate because I would have loved to use some AI in order to be able to just make this much faster. I mean, it was not gonna do the coding for me. I was gonna do the coding for myself, but it was just gonna help. And then there's 11 labs which provide some audio API stuff. So I'm gonna use this as well for the demo, but for the app. So what's gonna happen is if there's a notification, you're gonna have a nice voice reading that notification. What if you're right? You are in a car. What if your phone is on your pocket and all those kind of things? You still need to be notified one way or another. So I think it's better if this thing will just be able to speak and then tell you what is happening. And also, obviously, um, let me see. If I look at back at the epicenter, we alert you, but we also suggest alternates. We suggest safer routes, okay? So that's also a very important part of it is that we are able to, okay, that path is dangerous, but then if you try this one, it's a little bit safer. So you can actually travel on this specific route, and that's going to be really helpful for you. Um, and also, obviously, we're going to use either I'm going to use Google APIs or going to use, what's the other one? There's another one that I've used before, which was also very easy and nice to use. So I might use that one for maps and stuff. And then there's Mobin, and this one I can use for designing stuff and all those kind of things. I think I already do have Pro, so I'm not sure why it's saying get Pro. Um, yeah, I do have Pro for this app, so I can be able to access all the features and see all the design for my apps and get inspiration. And I can use linearity for designing. I think it just works the same as Canva, I mean, as Figma, but here specifically, I do have the premium version of it. And then I'll use one Signal for my push notifications, in app messages, emails, SMS, and all those kind of things that I want to use. So that's going to be very interesting. That's all I have. And that's the kind of planning I do have for now. But I have to also sit down and see what am I doing today? What am I doing now? And what am I trying to achieve with this? And see how far this goes. Okay, I'm going to end this now. Let me just end it. And yeah.